And a new wave of uncertainty for Texans still out of work as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. Many are stuck in a waiting game to find out if extra help that they've relied on will continue. Erica Zuko is live on the northwest side this morning. And Erica, do we know when they could possibly have an answer?
Well, Audrey, it could potentially happen as soon as this week. A lot of workers had come to rely on that extra $600 a week in unemployment benefits, and now they could get an additional $400 a week in unemployment benefits. That is if the state can work out all these details. The Texas Workforce Commission says it expects to get new guidance from the U.S. Department of Labor on the president's new executive orders. Previously, the CARES Act had increased those unemployment benefits for workers affected by the pandemic by $600 a week. That expired 2 weeks ago. Then the president issued an executive order Saturday, adding an extra $400 of employment benefits for eligible workers on unemployment if states agree to handle the programs and chip in $100 on their own in each of those $400. Now, TWC expects to learn how to implement the order and what funding options are available for states. There's still back and forth on whether lawmakers and the White House will come together on some sort of more comprehensive relief bill. Now, TWC says that if you are filing for unemployment, continue to do so as you have been. Live in the Medical Center, Erica Zuko, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.